Friends, good morning, and welcome to worship at the historic sanctuary of the Fountain Street Church. We welcome you to this service and to our fellowship today. We are a non-denominational, independent, and free-thinking congregation, and you are truly welcome to join us as we seek to draw the circle wider. My name is Nathan Dannison. I serve as the interim minister here at Fountain Street, and I have a few announcements and introductions on this very special Education Sunday. First, I want to lift up and celebrate our two newest newlyweds at Fountain Street. They're not here today because they're on their honeymoon up at Mackinac Island. But we have two people who both invested deeply in this church and who found their church home here at Fountain Street, who found their people, and they found one another. This is such a beautiful story. It is so perfectly Fountain Street. Congratulations to Brad Miller and Dolly Lutz. I know they are watching online. Beautiful wedding in the Evanston Chapel on Thursday. So following worship today, there are many events taking place at church, as happens every Sunday. Two events that would benefit specifically from your attendance and input. First, following worship today in the chapel, we're going to receive a presentation on the work completed by our Partners for Sacred Spaces Task Force. These folks have spent the last year working with consultants from the National Trust to envision better ways of caring for and sharing the historic church campus with the community. That presentation will happen again in the chapel following worship, and I will be there joining you as well. And also following worship, we will have small groups that are meeting throughout the building to take part in a very brief, 45 minutes or so, relational conversations facilitated by some of our church leaders from Together West Michigan. These are small group conversations that are intended to help Fountain Streeters get to know other Fountain Streeters, deepen our relationships with one another, and talk about issues that we need to organize around here in our community, not only at Fountain Street, but throughout West Michigan. So to attend one of these small group sessions, simply get a map on your way out of worship. They're in the two white baskets in the narthex. Just grab one and follow the map, and follow the map to snacks. There's snacks. There's going to be snacks provided. So that's how you're going to figure that out. Just grab a map, go have snacks, meet some new friends. Okay. And also in the narthex, there are some lovely wands. These were carved from the Mother's Day bough that was here last week. We had a beautiful dogwood branch in here last week, and in gratitude, we used the entire branch, tip to tail. So I made some of these. If you're a practitioner, practice the law of one or the laws of three. There's also a few dowsing rods back there, if that's more your speed. You have to dig a well this summer. It's water witching. It's kind of my people's stuff. Okay, they're yours if you practice a faith that works with nature or if it's meaningful to you. And they're not for sale, obviously. That's prohibited. I want to thank my dear friends from the pagan community who always provide me with loving oversight and encouragement. And this will make the fundamentalists' heads explode, I'm sure. We have two musical guests joining us today. First, I want to thank Linda Jones for stepping in to conduct our choir. Dr. DeLeon is attending commencement, and Linda's with us. Linda's the director of the Threshold Choir and is a longtime member of Fountain Street Church. And I also want to welcome our guest organist today, Dr. Michael Shostak. So Dr. Shostak is a globally renowned organist who is coming to us today from Warsaw. And his professional biography is in your bulletin. More importantly, he'll be giving a concert this afternoon at 3:30 here in the sanctuary. So please return for this once-in-a-lifetime event. We welcome him to the historic bench of Catherine the Great, the Fountain Street pipe organ. So today we celebrate education, our character school and our fountain club, and the many ways in which our church has invested in education. And we'll begin today's celebration by introducing to you our new resident seminarian, Emily Palmer Norwood. Emily, would you join me up here? You'll get used to this space. Emily. Emily is a blessing. Emily is a graduate from Kalamazoo College. They studied pre-veterinary medicine, and they spent several years then working in ethics and oversight for clinical pharmaceutical research. And Emily's now pursuing a Master's of Divinity degree at Western Theological Seminary, scheduled to graduate in spring of 2027 and pursue perhaps ordination in the United Church of Christ. Let's see what we do about that. In addition, Emily currently serves as the campus minister for United Church Ministries at Western Michigan University, teaches snowboarding, volunteers at Chef Therapeutic Riding Center. Emily's a triathlete. Emily does many, many things. And I want to give Emily a chance to speak as well.
Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Thank you.
I want to express how excited I am to be here today. I was honored to get to spend my college years learning under Nathan in Kalamazoo, absorbing all of the different information about all of the world that he knows. And I am especially excited to be here at Fountain Street because this is where my grandmother, Jessie Kindle Palmer, grew up and spent her years, where she and my grandfather, Bob Palmer, were married. And I know that she is looking down from heaven with Gwen and John Hibbard and many others, so excited that I get to experience life in this space, in this gorgeous sanctuary, this enormous pipe organ. You will learn that I'm a little bit of a pipe organ fanatic, even if I can't play it very well. And to meet all of you and to experience the community that is Fountain Street Church, the history and the future of all of it. So I'm looking forward to the summer with you all.
Wonderful. Welcome. All of these efforts, all of the learning that takes place here on our campus, all of it bends the arc of history, and it bends it toward justice and peace. So peace is more than just an idea in this church. It's a discipline, and it's a way of life. So I will offer a word of peace in the form of a blessing, and you can return it to me if you wish, and then I'm going to encourage you to greet one another with similar words. Friends, may peace be with you.
And also with you.
Let's greet one another with words of peace. like to invite Katie Mitchell, our character school director, to come forward and join me in this first reading today. The reading is in your bulletin. It's responsive. I hope that you'll join me. This is from a poem written by Don Lubbers. Don is not only a member of this congregation, but Don also served as the president of Grand Valley State University from 1963 to 2001. And I am deeply grateful that he gave me permission for us to use this in our worship service today. Please join me in this first reading. Home, church, community is where truth is absorbed, verified, and believed. The panorama unfolds. From the simple to the complex, the long leap begins. There are different beliefs, different ways of living. What should be done?
The guarantees of childhood seem far away. The complexities of life pile on one another.
Some stumble on to the end, others drift on and away. Hope is around for those who will have it. The deep trust from childhood slowly is sought. The heart remembers and feels love, once unconditionally given.
Love merges as reality, believed and trusted. Another leap is made from the complex to the simple.
Love is for all. Love dominates for those who take the leap back to simplicity. After the leap, the apostle shares this promise. All will be well. All will be well. All manner of things will be well. Well, I want to invite all the children of the church to come forward and join me up here on the steps. And just, if you're a child of the church, come forward and join me down here. Have a seat anywhere you like on the steps. We have some very special guests to introduce and some friends. Hello, buddy. Good morning. Good morning. To invite all of the children and any of the grown-ups who wish to attend or who have business with the character school, please bring your concerns forward as well. Good morning. Well done. Hey, hello. I know some of you have graduated from elementary school, or some of you had a preschool graduation, I know. But yes, today we have a couple of our fountain clubbers that we're celebrating who've graduated, and I'm going to invite them to give you your blessing in just a moment. But they're also going to be receiving something called a scholarship today from the church. Does anybody know what a scholarship is? Yeah? What is a scholarship? Yeah, it's when you get support for pursuing education after high school. And so I also want to invite up Todd and Patty, our Fountain Club volunteer sponsors, to come and join me. And I want to invite Spalding Wall, our governing board chair, to come forward and join me as well. They're going to be receiving the Kirkian and Wabeki Scholars Awards today from the church. These are two people who lived and who were in Fountain Street, who cared very deeply for education. And the graduates today who I've invited forward also are Dominic Lanninga and Lucy Stegeman. So to present this award, I want to invite Spalding to come forward with Katie Mitchell, our character school director. And Spalding will give the announcement.
So, is that on? Okay. On behalf of the governing board of Fountain Street Church, I'd like to congratulate our graduates and present this scholarship award to Dominic and Lucy. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our talented character school and Fountain Street Club staff and volunteers.
And so to sort of get you on your way to character school, I've asked Dominic and Lucy to lead the blessing this morning. And here's a microphone, and I don't know, you know how this works, right? You repeat after them, right? Can you show them that love and repeat after them? Wonderful. Do you have a blessing? Tell the kids. Tell them. You got it. Say, today,
Today,
what do you want for them?
We will be positive.
Oh, that's a good one. Can you say it in the microphone?
Today we will be positive.
We will be positive.
we will look over each other.
We will look over each other.
And we will love the beauty of nature.
And we will love the beauty of nature. Well done. You're naturals. So now I want to invite all of you to make your way to Character School. I know there's a banner, someone has it, and you can follow them. And except for you, Dominic and Lucy, you're going to hang out for a minute. And wonderful. So as our kids make their way to Character School, I want to invite all of you to turn in your hearts and open them to receive a word. I've asked both of our graduates from Fountain Club to speak today, and so I want to invite Dominic and Lucy now to the pulpit to share a reflection of gratitude that they've brought today, their senior reflections. Please open your hearts.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Good. Okay. So for those who don't know me, my name is Dominic. I've been going to Fountain Street Church for about 15 or 16 years. I've called this church one of my homes for the past 15 or 16 years as well. Some of you may call it one of your homes as well. I've been greeted every Sunday through every door in this church by an amazing community of people that I am extremely thankful for. Now, the community in this church has shaped me as a person in so many ways. I've had the opportunity to meet some incredibly influential people, such as Todd and Patty, who have brought their love, joy, and jokes to Fountain Club. Through the past 4 years since I've met them, they've done so much for me, such as standing by my side and urging me to do my best. I've also been met with a community of Fountain Clubbers that have stuck with me for these past 4 years. In my 4 years with them, we've faced so many challenges that we've been able to overcome as a community, and I wouldn't be who I am without them today. Now, for those sitting in the congregation today, I thank you for coming to this church that sits at 24 Fountain Street. I thank you for supporting not just my journey, but the journeys of the community that you continue to show up for. I urge you to take as many opportunities as you can to grow in your life. I urge you to be creative and look forward to the little wins that we celebrate each and every day. And I pray that everyone here today has a community in this church where they are empowered to grow, connect, and inspire change. As every single one of my youth leaders have told me, we are the people of Fountain Street Church, people with open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Thank you.
Hello and good morning. My name is Lucy Stegeman. I was born in Shanghai, China, and was adopted at 3.5 years old into the U.S. Today, I will be talking about how Fountain Street Church has raised me over the past 14 years. From a young age, my mom brought me to chapel, a more interactive morning service where I could crawl around on the floor, and everyone welcomed this little toddler. It was a good introduction to Fountain Street Church and the congregation that I would later get to know. As I grew up and my mom went to chapel by herself, my dad would take me to Character School after making breakfast for my sister and me while we watched English Premier League soccer on TV. As school became more of a focus for me, I started to attend Character School less frequently. Through physical and mental challenges, my memory of Character School has become fuzzy. But the feeling of being welcomed in this community has stayed. I will tell you some things I do remember. Dominic's love for fire trucks, Will and Henry's love for animals, and the countless instructors we've had in Character School, Tower Club, and Fountain Club, including Quinn, Alex, Joe, and lastly, Katie. These teachers or mentors have helped me better understand different religions and cultural backgrounds. Whether it was Alex telling us about her volunteer work with forest fire victims, or Quinn teaching us the parable of the Good Samaritan, or even Katie teaching us about the importance of diversity. I've learned that there is not one way to look at the world, and that is okay. While we may not have one set of religious rules or teachings, our diverse lessons have helped me to understand the people and world around me. As I close my time at Fountain Street Church as a K-12 student, I just want to give one last shout out to Todd and Patty Johnson. You have been there not only for me, but for my sister and many others. You helped welcome me back into the Fountain Club and this congregation. Words cannot begin to describe my appreciation for the two of you. Through my newfound understanding of what Fountain Street Church truly stands for, I have begun to appreciate and share the same support, love, and devotion with others in my new community. I have made friendships that will last a long time, and I've gained a new understanding and awareness of my community and what it means to be an asset to our church and our city. Now I can work for the good of others with the knowledge that I can be caring and welcoming, just as Fountain Street Church was to me. Thank you for listening.
And this is by no means the last time we will see these two here at the church. Let us go ahead and take a moment in silence and in reflection as we think together on the blessings that we have received through the education programs of this church. To offer our second reading today, I'd like to invite Jill Wolf and Nathan Bierma to come forward.
Good morning. Our second reading is taken from Paul's first letter to the church in Corinth. Hear these words. If I speak in the tongues of humans and of angels but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal.
And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing.
Even if I give away all my possessions, and even if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing.
Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude.
Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing. Love rejoices in the truth.
It bears all things.
It believes all things.
It hopes all things.
It endures all things.
Love never ends, but as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end.
This is because today, right now, we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part, but when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end.
When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. But when I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways.
For now we see only a reflection, as in a mirror, but then we shall see face to face.
Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known.
And now faith, hope, and love are here.
Faith, hope, and love are here.
And of these three, the greatest of these is love.
Less so a sermon today. I hadn't put sermon in the bulletin. I'd written charge to the congregation, but this is a charge, and so I will not be up here as long as I normally am. But today we just heard the ancient poetry of St. Paul's letter to that church in Corinth. These verses were from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It's only called 1 Corinthian if you're a biblically illiterate politician. Don't ask municipal employees to talk about the Bible. But these verses get used a lot during weddings, you know? And I don't think that Paul would be particularly happy about this. I don't think we necessarily need to care what Paul would think. He was pretty strongly anti-marriage. And they're lovely, though. They're beautiful verses. They talk about love in a very communal way. Paul's talking about a love that is sacrificial enough to transcend relationships between two people. It's greater than this. He's talking about a love that exists and can only exist within a community of people who have taken some sort of covenant step to be in relationship with one another. This is a great circle of hope, and it's a statement of collective salvation. In this letter, he's giving this community in Corinth permission to grow and change and learn. He's giving them permission to see things in a new way. He's freeing them from the fetters of dogma and doctrine. And he is explaining to them in very plain language that it's all well and good to know things that are true or correct, but that this is meaningless without love. That all of those things will pass away at some point, but only love is transcendent enough to remain. Or in the words of Reverend David Rankin, who was the minister of this church for many years, the sum of all theologies is love. There is a great gulf of difference between being right and being in relationship. Many times in our lives, we have to choose between those two things. And sometimes we have to choose to be right. That is very true. But oftentimes we can be as right as we want. But if we sacrifice love at the altar of being right or correct, we may be left alone. The most confusing line for me in this reading, that I've probably heard 1,000 times, is this business about thinking and reasoning like a child. You know? When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. That gets preached on in topics of spiritual maturity. And I think that there's some value there. There are often values that we pursue in life as adults that distinguish us from children. I think that one easy example is the difference between what's fair and what's just. Children are often obsessed with fair and fairness. Everyone gets the same exact... Many parents have learned one person cuts the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and the other person chooses the peanut butter jelly sandwich. And if you don't think that these skills translate into church ministry, That's fairness. It's striving for what's fair. And adults, people who are grown, people who are spiritually mature enough to know that we are not individually, any of us, saved all on our lonesome, but that all of us are bound into a single garment of destiny, and that our salvation is bound up with one another. We don't pursue fairness. We pursue justice. Justice is the mature version of fairness. And so that's all well and good, but the primary issue with reading this teaching of Paul as though it's an indictment of childish thinking is that it totally contradicts what Jesus says over and over and over again in the Gospels. And Jesus says, for the kingdom of God belongs to those who are like little children. And Jesus goes another step further. He says, anyone who does not receive the kingdom of God like a child will never enter into it. Never. Very unusual that Jesus uses such formal, such exclusionary language to say never enter it. If you do not see with the eyes of a child, you will not enter the kingdom. So I think that putting away childish things is probably something we should be very careful about. And it's entirely possible that Paul is indicting himself, that Paul is speaking to his own failures. Paul is many things, but he is not shy from writing down his own personal shortcomings. And so there's a tension that exists here between seeing as a child and between understanding what it means to embrace community in a way that lifts up a multitude of different values. We have an opportunity. Fountain Street Church, has an opportunity to journey into those two different concepts and ideas through your Fountain Club and your character school. So Fountain Club is old. There are a few things in this church that predate Duncan Littlefair. The Women's Association is one of them, the sanctuary itself, and the Fountain Club. Duncan inherited the Fountain Club when he came here in 1943. And Dr. Littlefair had 3 values that he wanted to pursue out of the gate: preaching, counseling, and growing youth and children's education programs. Those were the 3 things he wanted to do. Don't show me a spreadsheet. Don't talk to me about property budgets. He wanted to grow the child and youth development program. And they inherited the Fountain Club, which was this incredible thing. It had grown all on its own organically in the life of this church. It was mainly high school students who organized themselves, who elected their own leaders from amongst themselves, who wrote their own bylaws, who traveled all over the country. And they continued to do this, and they'll continue to do this. And the character school. The character school I've preached an entire sermon about it. I'm not going to get lost in the sauce. But there's some miracles in this story, too. The character school happened because 2 totally independent ministers of this church, Verdi Reeser and Jack Bowers, read the same book at totally different points in their careers when they weren't working together. They ended up here together. And Jack brought with him from Dallas, Texas, a vision of this character school program that Verdi Reeser had only read about in this incredible book, and they set it to life here at Fountain Street Church. And what character school sought to do, in the simplest language I can find, is that it affirmed the choice to teach ethics to children. To teach ethics to children. And if you think about this long enough, you start to make yourself a little bit crazy, because you'll wonder, of all of the different things that we teach our children in the public education system, from mathematics to English to foreign languages to social studies and all physical education, all of the things that they learn, why the hell don't we teach them ethics? Why is there that sort of great gulf in their education? And character school sought to remedy this. And I have my own theories about why we don't teach ethics to children. I think it throws a little sand in the gears of capitalism. But Fountain Street chose, through its character school program, to teach ethics to children. And then later brought in the global religious education program out of this fundamental understanding that children going into the world would be exposed to all sorts of different religious thinking, not just here in West Michigan, but everywhere that they went. And so allow them to begin with a choice, and allow them to understand that metaphysical systems are often a choice and require consent. Shield them from systems that would indoctrinate them into believing that there is only one path to the truth among many. And that religious education program is still there, and it's brilliant. Katie Mitchell is doing a phenomenal job of breathing life back into that. And then the last piece that's coming to us again, coming back to life, is the OWL program, the Our Whole Lives program. Science-based sex education for kids and for adults. Offer this to the entire city, for it is another glaring disparity in our current public education system. This is all an element of this character school. And now you have a chance to rebuild it. You have a chance to breathe life into it. And as far as I can tell, throughout the downtown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, there's no competition. It's all yours. Do this thing and you will change the arc of history. It is a slow thing to change the world through education. It lacks oftentimes the appeal of revolutionary action, but it is the only thing that we know of that transcends the generations and shapes the future. I didn't think I was going to do this, but if you were in any way, shape, or form involved in the Character School program or the Fountain Club or the education programs of this church and you're here today, would you stand up? I have a hunch that, yeah, that's what I thought. That's amazing. That's tremendous. That is a tremendous thing. It makes a huge difference. And they come back, and they lead this church into the next generation. So beyond this 2-year interim process, the paces that I'm putting you through, beyond all of that work, you've got to begin to think in 5-year, in 10-year, in 40-year increments of time. And that means rebuilding the Character School into something that is unique, not just in Grand Rapids, but in our entire country and culture. And so they need you, the children and youth that will be coming into this place in the coming months, in the coming year. They need you to volunteer to teach and to engage with the children. Learn their names. What I will say, I've not had to have the issue. Some churches I go to, and a child runs, screaming across the social hall, and some beloved child of God says, "Whose kid is that?" I haven't seen that here. They're your kids. They're yours. Learn their names. That's a good place to begin if you haven't already. Learn their names and teach them your name, too. You're good at this, Fountain Street. I haven't had to really bring this up at all. I'm telling you something that you already know. Also to give, to support these programs through your pledges to this church and your investments in the work that they do. Each one of you, though, more important to any of this is that each one of you has your lived experience to share with these kids. This is what makes this place so precious and special and unusual, is that there is no catechism of the Fountain Street Church, okay? There's no doctrine in any book that I can find anywhere. There's no dogma here. This place has good news, and it's written on the hearts of every human being who's a part of this community. That's the only catechism I've found so far. It's communicated through the oral history of every member of this church. And only you can teach it to the next generation. It's not written down in any book that we can find. And so I charge you, Fountain Street Church, to build up and to rebuild and to renew and to reinvigorate this institution as a place of learning and education and higher education and ongoing education, as a towering home in this city for creativity and inspiration and free thinking, and create this for the benefit of the children, not just the ones who are here right now today, but the ones who have yet to come through the doors and the ones who have yet to be born, who will need this in the future. Give generously and volunteer, get involved, and get in touch. We've got a fire to light. Yeah? Yeah. Amen.
They can say it all sounds crazy.
Your offering and your financial support does a tremendous amount of good here in this church and in this community. And so at this time, I want to invite the ushers to come forward to receive any gifts or offerings that you brought this day. And thank you. Number 100. We will sow these, our gifts, into the world, and they will make good soil for the future. Let us be blessed to receive all of those who come, and let us sustain them through our generosity of spirit, of love, and of community. So may it be. And now let us join our voices together in singing our closing hymn. 324. Yes. Receive this spoken blessing before you receive the choral blessing. Friends, go forth in here with fires alight in your hearts. Seek out the truth and seek out love and relationship. Love, the sum of all theologies. Go forth in peace.